Alright, so begin by removing these plastic clips. There's 7 of them, so remove this one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. You can use one of these tools to pop them off, or you could probably just use your fingers, or a flat blade screwdriver would also work.
Thirsty for an edge at the tables? Master Blackjack, count cards like a pro, and calculate poker odds, all in one app. Drink it all in with Table Edge, your ultimate casino strategy tool.
Alright, next pop off this reservoir hose. Should just pop right out. Set that away. And also remove this clip right here. With the clip removed, you can squeeze this tab right here. And this should lift right out. Move this clamp right here. Alright, you might lose some cooling here, but most of it leaked out from this car. It has a leaking radiator. So there's still some in here, so I'm just going to move the hose up here, kind of just set it out of the way, keep that coolant from falling down. There we go. Alright, so next remove these 10mm bolts. There's one right here and one right there, and put a catch can underneath so you can catch some of that coolant that's falling. Alright, and as you can see the connector from down here. I reach my hand across right here in order to reach it. If you have bigger hands, you have to take out, this is where you got to take out that battery box to get to it, but I'm able to connect it through right here. Just fitting my hand right there. Especially with this radiator loose like that, it gives you enough space if you have smaller hands. So see, that's the connector right here. So next, disconnect the other fan shroud connector. It's right here. Just have to squeeze the bottom tab on it and lift the top part of the connector upward. Next, remove this 10mm and that 10mm. So next, remove this 10mm and this one right here. Now wiggle this side to side and it should pop right out. Next, loosen the hose clamp on the bottom hose. I use some locking pliers to lock that down. That way I can move this out of the way and pop it out a lot easier. So you'll want to do the same thing with this transmission line right here. This is an automatic. If you have a manual, you won't have that. Put this other lower hose out of the way. I just bent it over and push it over here. Since that hose has transmission fluid in it, as soon as you pop it off, make sure to lift it up as quickly as possible. That way you lose the least amount of automatic transmission fluid as possible. As soon as I popped it off, I just moved the hose right over there, upward. So I think I only lost like a couple drops. Just to pop off this lower connector. Yeah, you just gotta squeeze it from the bottom, and it should pop out. Next, you also want to pop out this tab right here that's holding this connector down. This other bracket, there's a 10mm here and another 10mm right there. What a lot of videos don't show you is that there's actually a 10mm holding on the bottom, holding this shroud, and another one on the other side. You can see the bolt, it's right there. On the opposite side, there's another one. You can see it right over down there. And you gotta remove those two, but if you raise the radiator up, position yourself at a nicer angle, you should have enough room to take it out. So this way is a lot easier. For some reason they skipped this part because I think they take it out of the bottom since they're using lifts and stuff. Or maybe it's been replaced before and they just didn't put those bolts on. But either way, if yours hasn't been touched, then it's going to have those bolts. On this side, I'm using a slightly longer 10mm. Bolts on the bottom, you don't have to remove them all the way. You could just loosen them up about a 1/4 inch, and then the shroud should pop out. That fan shroud out of the way. Now we got to remove this one right here. And if you want to drain your system nicely, right here, you can loosen that up, and that's your drain. So you can do it through the bottom, let it drain. It just keeps things a lot cleaner. That way it's emptied out and you don't have to remove those hoses, let a bunch of coolant all over the place. So next, you're gonna wanna use those pliers again and remove this clamp. And normally when it's stock, that clamp is facing downward, so it makes it a real pain to get it from the top. But if you use some pliers right up there above the clamp, right there, you could squeeze a little and turn downward, and it'll cause the whole clamp to spin with the hose, giving you a better location so you can actually reach your pliers and get down on that clamp. So do that to make it easier. Clamp, you could just push it forward, that way it's off the hose, because there's not much room, so it's kind of a pain. This car is kind of designed to be worked from on the bottom for this part, but I didn't want to remove the whole splash guard, and it kind of wraps around the bumper and everything, so it's a little more painful this way, but it's doable, and it still saved me a lot of time. As soon as I popped off the hose, I wrapped it right up there, so it's facing upward. I removed the radiator, should just lift right up out of here. It's a replacement radiator. I got it over at O'Reilly's, and that's the part number. There's a new one, and make sure it looks right. In this case, it looks good. On the automatics, see, these are the transmission lines. If you have a manual, it's the same radiator. Pretty much just, you can leave these open like that with these things on them. And you can install it like that. Since no coolant goes through it, it's fine. And there's a few things you'll have to transfer over from the old one. Specifically, you gotta transfer this sensor over. It's a 17 mil, and these grommets down there. There's one on each side, so transfer them over to the new one. And also make sure this new drain is also tightened up. It's a little loose on the new one, so I'm just gonna place them directly back where they belong. Pop them there. That way they don't fall off of the radiator. We try putting them on, so transfer these over if yours are the same case. Again, I'm using a 17 mil for that sensor. Right, and I removed the O-ring from the plastic drain plug and transferred its O-ring over to the sensor, just because it's a lot newer. That way we don't reuse the same old one and the risk there being a leak. So we got the rest done. Now we just gotta reverse what we did, put the hoses back on, everything else. I mean, you saw how to remove it, so it's pretty much opposite of what you did. All right, and as you can see, we got everything connected. We got that bottom line, drain cocks tightened up. We also have the bolts in place for the fan shroud to go. We got that coolant switch connected, hose on there, the lower transmission line connected as well. So once everything's there, now let's put those fan shrouds back on, and we should be done pretty soon. And if this clamp closes up on you completely, you could always get a pick, and if you put it in this tab right here, pull it downward, and then that will cause it to free up and get these teeth off of there. So you can do that to get that clamp back to where it was, or you could use a new one. This one looked in good condition, so we're reusing it. And we got this fan shroud tightened up, connector back on, hose on there. So now let's keep going. All right, and this part right here will slide onto that part right there. So just place it on the right spot, right inside those tabs, push down, and that's pretty much it. And then just connect this back where it was. Got this thing for mosquitoes because there's a bunch of mosquitoes out today. Okay, and then you just gotta go under. There we go. And then once that lines up, everything's lined back up. All right, now that we got everything back in place, everything's back how it was, everything's tightened up. Now you want to top off this radiator. This car will use the Asian blue Honda coolant, so make sure you put this one in there. If you want to keep it original, you Could probably use universal as well, but we're gonna keep the customer happy and use what was originally in here from factory. Make sure it's just topped off to the top. So to finish this off, all you got to do is start the vehicle, put your heater on full blast. Make sure to have your heater control all the way to the hot position, and then let the car run until it starts warming up. Leave the cap off for a little while. You'll see some bubbles rise, some coolant might fall, so make sure to catch it. But as soon as the car warms up for a couple minutes, I'd say maybe 2-3 minutes, put the cap back on, and make sure to use a new cap. You could reuse the old one, but for this one, we got a new cap for the customer, because if you have a faulty cap, it might be building up too much pressure, and that could cause the radiator to crack. So I always recommend to use a new radiator cap whenever you swap one of these radiators. Here's the radiator cap. I picked it up at an O'Reilly's, and that's the part number. But yeah, just put that cap back on after it warms up a little. Drive it around, and yeah, then let it, as long as you're not overheating. If you start overheating, shut it off. Let the car sit for a little while, and then just keep topping this off until it's completely filled once again. And after that, your heater should be working. That's how you know the air is out of it. And yeah, as long as you bleed the air, or as long as you get the air out of the system, that's kind of the finishing touch. So, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. And this has been Tony Torx. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. This is a lot of work, and I really appreciate it. Thanks.